From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, July 27th. Another hot summer day today. Humidity values will be up a little bit for us, being a little bit more uncomfortable. Highs will be in the upper 80s to low 90s. And breaking news this morning, Simone Biles is out of the team finals at the Tokyo Olympics due to an apparent injury. CNN is reporting Biles stumbled on a vault landing in today's competition. She then withdrew from the finals after she left the field and was attended to by a trainer. She came back with a heavily wrapped foot. Jordan Childs has warmed up in Biles' place on the uneven bars. We're going to continue following this for you. USA Gymnastics did tweet this morning, Simone Biles has withdrawn from the team final competition due to a medical issue. She will be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions. Thinking of you, Simone. A woman is shot while sleeping in a van on the near north side of Indianapolis. IMPD says it happened around 3:30 this morning on Broadway Street near 21st. Police who were there tell us that a man shot the woman, then took off, and we're also told that that woman's expected to be okay. A police chase ended with a deadly crash on the south side of Indianapolis. Indianapolis police say it started when officers tried to pull over a stolen pickup near Garfield Park on Shelby Street. When officers got out, the truck pulled off. Police say the man lost control at Shelby and Madison Avenue, drove off the road, flipped into a ditch, and died. The department's internal affairs are now investigating. It is check-in day for the Colts at training camp for everyone except head coach Frank Reich. The team announced yesterday that he tested positive for COVID-19. General manager Chris Ballard says practice and meetings will not be affected today and through the week.
Frank's still going to be he's still a part of it. With everything we learned a year ago with Zoom, he's still involved. He's in meetings through Zoom. He'll be in team meetings through Zoom. He's in contact with we have staff meetings every morning, and he's in constant contact with everybody.
The team says Reich is fully vaccinated and not showing any symptoms. A group of coaches will fill in for Reich in Westfield. Special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone, offensive coordinator Marcus Brady, and defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus will be on hand. Sports director Anthony Calhoun spoke to Wish TV Colts insider Zach Kiefer about the impact of missing Reich for the first week.
Players and coaches and staff can test positive and have to be out for a couple of days. We might not see Frank Reich back on the practice field until Monday. That means your new quarterback, Carson Wentz, who came here to play for Frank Reich, is not going to get to work with him the first week of camp. And also, this team has got a very murky COVID situation right now, and that's something we should probably touch on.
Yeah, you look at the situation for the Colts. Chris Ballard said today about 60% of the players have been vaccinated. The NFL says, hey, look, you need 80% or more to keep yourself from possibly forfeiting games. But if you're a player that's not vaccinated and you look at your head coach, hey, he got vaccinated, still got COVID-19. What type of hurdle is this for Chris Ballard to try to encourage these guys to, hey, you got to get vaccinated?
This is a very murky situation. Let's call it what it is, right? So 9 teams in the league are above 90%. Only 5 teams are below 70%. The Colts are one of them. And with as many as 25 to 30 unvaccinated players, that's how outbreaks happen, and that's how people like Frank Reich, who are fully vaccinated, will test positive. The more unvaccinated players you have, the higher chance that someone could catch the virus and test positive. And we saw how it cost them last year in games against Tennessee and Pittsburgh, and we'll see how it's costing them already to start training camp this year with Frank Reich out. This is a very real situation, and there's not many teams in the league that are facing a tougher challenge to get their players vaccinated than the Indianapolis Colts.
You touch on the fact Carson Wentz, first year here in Indianapolis with this former coach and Frank Reich, obviously won't have him for a week.
And what Reich is going through is what's referred to as a breakthrough case. It's uncommon. In Indiana, more than 2.85 million people are fully vaccinated. This is according to the State Department of Health. Out of those who have then tested positive for COVID-19 after their vaccination, it's 2,700, meaning fewer than 0.1% of fully vaccinated people in Indiana have been known to have caught the virus again. While that percentage is low, concern among health officials is growing. Doctors say the vaccines protect against getting sick from COVID-19, but they aren't 100%. Just like the Colts train and practice to meet an opponent, doctors say that's what the vaccine helps your body to do. Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams tells us he's not surprised that some vaccinated people are testing positive for COVID, but emphasizes that those vaccinated are better prepared to protect themselves from severe disease and hospitalization, and that the vaccines are doing exactly what they're designed to do.
You can still get the virus and your body will fight it off, and that's considered a breakthrough case by some people's definitions. But practically, what matters to me, what matters to your viewers, is whether or not you end up in the hospital or whether or not you end up dying from COVID. And that is incredibly rare. Still 90% effectiveness from these vaccines, even in the midst of the Delta variant, against severe disease and hospitalization. So we're going to see some breakthrough infections in terms of people testing positive, but we're not seeing very many at all breakthrough infections from the standpoint that people are getting really sick.
Federal health officials say 99.5% of deaths from COVID-19 are now among the unvaccinated, and more than 97% of people hospitalized with COVID-19 are also unvaccinated. But doctors say we shouldn't be surprised or alarmed to see some breakthrough COVID cases like what happened with the Colts. And this morning, more health experts are asking for a return to pandemic precautions as cases climb. The CDC says fewer than 50% of American adults are fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. California and New York will require all government employees to get the shot or go through weekly COVID testing. 50 healthcare groups, including the American Medical Association, issued a joint statement yesterday calling for all healthcare and long-term care workers to be vaccinated.
When you go into a hospital, you want the assurance that you're not going to be given a disease you didn't come there to get.
The concern comes as Delta variant spreads rapidly. According to data from Johns Hopkins, the United States is now averaging 52,000 new COVID-19 cases each day, a 61% jump over last week's numbers. And Pfizer and Moderna are expanding the size of their COVID-19 vaccine study to detect rare side effects. According to the New York Times, the FDA has asked the companies to include 3,000 children from ages 5 to 11 years old. The agency is reviewing rare cases of heart inflammation after people receive their shots. The paper reports Moderna is hoping to get emergency use authorization for children under 11 before the end of this year. Pfizer could meet the requirements by the end of September. And Tokyo is reporting its highest ever count of new coronavirus cases. The more than 2,800 new infections tops a January spike by more than 300. Tokyo is currently under its fourth state of emergency, which will last through both the Olympics and into the Paralympics next month. And another day of competition is underway in Tokyo. Team USA tops the total medal count with 19, including 8 gold, 3 silver, and 8 bronze. The host country also has 8 gold medals and is second in the total tally with 13. More of Indiana's own are hoping to make a splash as they hit the pool today. IU greats Jessica Parado, Zach Apple, and Michael Brinegar are all set to swim, as is Carmel native Drew Kibler. 3 Notre Dame alums are looking for a win in women's basketball. Jackie Young, Skylar Diggins-Smith, and Jewel Lloyd are on Team USA. Carmel's Rajiv Ram has a tennis match, Cathedral's Joe Schroeder a rugby game, and Marian University's Chloe Dygert a cycling race. And now to Avon, where a gun went off in a car, wounding 2 people, and officers may have saved their lives. It happened last night on Highway 36 near Ronald Reagan Parkway. Avon police say the gunshot hit a 24-year-old and a 17-year-old, and that the gun belonged to one of them. Authorities also say the first 2 officers to get to the scene used tourniquets to stop the victim's bleeding. Police say it was reported as an accident. No word yet if either of the victims will face any charges. Police arrested a man at last night's Carmel-Clay School Board meeting. Officers say a handgun fell out of his pocket. Carmel police say an officer saw the gun, seized it, and escorted Robert Lesher out of the building. They do not believe Lesher was a threat to anyone at the meeting. But in general, Indiana law prohibits anyone from bringing a gun on school property or property that's being used for school business. There are a few exceptions, but typically, even if the person is licensed to carry a handgun, it is illegal. And troubling tweets lead to an open discussion about date rape drugs in Indianapolis. 3 city-county councilors hosted the talk last night, spurred on by social media posts saying people are spiking drinks in the Fountain Square area. IMPD, IU Health, and the prosecutor's office were there to talk with local business owners and their customers about ways to prevent the problem or recognize it when it's happening. City County Councilor Kristen Jones helped organize the event after conversations online and in person.
Some of the folks that I was talking to, they told me that it happened so quick. They were out with their friends, that they felt like they didn't even turn their head from their drinks, and that it happened so quickly. And I hope to raise some awareness and education that if it does happen to you, what does it feel like?
Jones says the issue is especially important now that pandemic rules are ending and more people are going out to bars. And people in Broad Ripple are worried after some weekend violence.
It's scary to think that people are getting shot. Scary to think that violence is even local here.
The shootings happened Sunday morning. IMPD says it first found 2 people who'd been shot at the corner of Guilford and Broad Ripple Avenue just after 1:30 a.m. An hour later, IMPD says it found another person shot just a few blocks away near the FedEx store. At last check, all 3 victims were stable. Police in Kokomo are looking for a woman accused in the killing of her 10-month-old baby. Nicole Grelau is wanted for 3 counts of battery with death. Police say they found the baby unresponsive April 25th. The Howard County coroner has ruled it a homicide. If you know where Grelau is, you're asked to call the Kokomo Police Department. An explosion in Lafayette leaves a man in critical condition. It happened at Indy Scale on Coleman Court just after 10 yesterday morning. It's not yet clear what caused the blast, but the fire that followed sent a huge tower of smoke into the air. The Lafayette Fire Department says medics took the injured man to a burn unit in Indianapolis. And the city of Indianapolis is close to reaching its goal to convert streetlights around Marion County neighborhoods into high-efficiency LED fixtures. Mayor Joe Hogshead and AES Indiana launched Operation Nightlight in 2016. The partnership enhances neighborhood safety and improves the efficiency of taxpayer dollars. According to the city, nearly 27,000 light fixtures have been transformed into high-efficiency LED lights so far. The addition of 2,000 more fixtures has been approved by the city. Those will be installed through 2025. The funeral for the last victim to be identified in the Florida condo collapse is today. Estelle Hadaya's family says they were told the news yesterday. She is one of 98 victims in the collapse that happened more than a month ago. Her brother said he wants Estelle to be at peace. The victims of the tragedy range from 1 to 92 years old. This morning, it's still unclear what will happen at the collapse site. A judge wants the property sold. Some condo owners want to rebuild, and others say a memorial should be placed to remember the lives lost. And today, a historic hearing on Capitol Hill. The January 6th Select Committee is holding its first hearing. 4 officers who responded to the riot are slated to testify, 2 from the D.C. Police Department and 2 from Capitol Police. We also expect the committee to view video that has never been publicly released. CNN reports that insiders say the testimony will be quite vivid at times, and the witnesses will raise questions about physical and psychological injuries the officers endured and the care they need. One of the officers set to testify suffered a heart attack, a brain injury, and post-traumatic stress.
I want people to understand the significance of January 6th. I want people to understand that thousands of rioters came to the Capitol hell-bent on violence and destruction and murder.
The committee makeup is now set after weeks of partisan sparring. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected 2 of the Republican leadership's picks for the panel, including Indiana's Jim Banks. Pelosi chose Republicans Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger.
Who is that, Adam and Liz? Aren't they kind of like Pelosi Republicans?
Well, look, we're about very serious business here. We have important work to do, and I think that's pretty childish.
The other 7 members of the committee are Democrats. The hearing was scheduled to begin at 9:30 this morning. Britney Spears' new attorney has filed a petition to remove Spears' father as the conservator of her estate. The filing looks to replace Jamie Spears with a CPA in California. According to the filing, Spears' estate has more than $2.7 million in cash assets and $56 million in other assets. Social Catfish says Indiana residents lost $35 million to internet scams last year. That comes to thousands in lost dollars per person. Business and romance scams were the most common and often were phishing emails with a fraudulent link that they asked you to click on. 20 years old and younger has the fastest growth rate of victims. It also said the top apps were scams that took place on Facebook, Google Hangouts, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The housing boom may be over as new home sales fall to a pandemic low. Sales of new single-family homes fell to an annualized rate of 676,000, at 6.6% below May's rate of 724,000, and 19.4% below the June 2020 level of 839,000. The median price of a newly built home in June rose just 6% from June of 2020. Fuel supply delays and constraints are the latest issue to hit U.S. air carriers. American said it is among several carriers facing the fuel supply shortage. The airline said flights will carry additional fuel into airports affected by the shortages. And Southwest is offering employees premium pay to work on days off, ramping up hiring in its largest cities to help combat operational challenges. During the airline's second quarter earnings call, CEO Gary Kelly cited a combination of technology issues followed by weaker weather challenges across our entire network, which led to significant crew availability concerns as well as a series of flight delays or cancellations. Facebook will create a product team to work on the metaverse, a concept related to VR and AR that involves creating digital worlds that multiple people can inhabit at the same time. Facebook is heavily investing in AR and VR technologies because they offer the company the possibility of controlling its own hardware platform. And this morning, IT-Mate is looking into new numbers in Indiana's unemployment crisis. We now know how much the state may have overpaid in claims and how much people have been forced to pay back. IT-Mate's Richard Essex breaks the numbers down.
We have been poring over dozens of federal reports from the United States Department of Labor. And from those reports, we have gleaned that the state is trying to recover almost $100 million in unemployment benefits that were overpaid just last year. That doesn't include $13 million that was paid this year. We have had hundreds of complaints sent to IT-Mate about the tactics used by the Indiana Department of Workforce Development to recover unemployment overpayments. Paul Dowdy of Indianapolis lost his job when the state shut down. He was able to collect unemployment, and now the state wants the money back.
In excess of 14,000. I almost want to say 17,000, but definitely in excess of 14,000.
The United States Department of Labor data indicates that Indiana has recovered $26 million so far. What the data doesn't show is exactly how many people have been forced to pay the money back. Compared to surrounding states, Indiana is one of the most aggressive collectors of overpaid unemployment insurance. The state of Indiana does have a waiver program, but the federal report shows that Indiana has not waived a single dollar of overpayments. Daddy says the waiver and appeal process is not user-friendly.
I just regret having to take the money, especially getting bills, telling me that there'll be federal agencies pursuing me for the money if I don't pay it.
The numbers provided by the United States Department of Labor do not include all unemployment benefit program numbers, so the actual dollar amounts could be much higher. And fraud does play a part in the overpayment numbers. The United States Department of Labor estimates that Indiana paid out just under 5% to fraudulent claims. At the State House, Richard Essex, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And you can still tell us about your unemployment issues. Grab your phone, go to wishtv.com, and find the As Seen on Wish TV section at the very top of the homepage. There you can find an overpayment waiver available in English and in Spanish. And lastly, Kansas City's pro football team will stay the Chiefs, but a longtime mascot is out. Team president Mark Donovan is explaining the changes. He says that the horse called War Paint will be retired as part of the team's reevaluation of its Native American imagery. Cleveland's Major League Baseball team announced last week it is changing its nickname from the Indians to the Guardians. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.